So guys, in this part we are going to work on our jumping. So let's create the new C# script, and I'm going to call it sensor. So now let's go into our value player. Here right click, create an empty object, and I'm going to call it ground sensor. Then I'm going to attach that sensor script to it. Also we want to bring that ground sensor in bottom of our player, so in the where the foot is, where the foot of our player is. So here I'm going to then create a box collider 2D, and I'm going to adjust it then here I'm going to make it trigger because we don't want to collide with anything else. So now as you see, it's going to attach to the ground. When it's attached to the ground, that means we are on the ground. So now I can make it a little bit bigger, so like that. Oh, that's good, yeah. So now let's go inside of our sensor. Here inside, for now we don't need start and update. We can delete them. We need a private int collide count, and as a default I'm going to put it 0. Then here private void on enable. When it's on enable, we want also to make the collide count to be 0 as well. Now we need to make a function for that. Public bool, going to call that is active. That means if the player is on the ground or not, or is attached to another collider. So here each time the player collide with another collider, then this collide count is going to become a 1. So if collide count is bigger than 0, then here we are going to say return true, and else if we didn't collide with anything, the collide count is 0, so or less than 0 or 0, then it's returned false. So now we need a on-trigger enter to add to that our collide count. Here on-trigger enter 2D, inside collide count plus or plus equal 1. Each time we collide with something, we are going to add to that. Then we need another one, and that is when we want to jump and we are going to exit from that. So that's on trigger exit this time. And be sure that is 2D because we are in the 2D project. So here collide count just copy that, paste it. Instead of plus, I'm going to change it to minus. So now we can save it. Now when I'm going to play, you can see that the value, the ground sensor is 1. I need to go to debug so I can see that pivot variable. So here collide count is 1. And when I'm going to bring the player up, so now you can see that. Let's just make it smaller so you can see as long as our player is on the air, so the collide count is 0. And when it's touched to the ground, it's become 1. So that is the sensor part of our player. So I need to bring our player down again. Now let's go to our player controller. In the top, we need a new variable. Here, public float, and I'm going to call it jump force. How far our player we want our player to jump up. Now also let's add another component here. Going to write private sensor, call it ground sensor. Because we want to get access to that script, to our sensor script, that's why we need to have this variable here. And here we need to get access to that at the start of the game. So ground sensor is equal to transform dot find inside of the parentheses quotation mark. We need to write exact name, so I'm just going to rename it, maybe a little bit of space here, and then copy that. And then let's go back to our player controller script again and paste it here. And then dot get component, and the component is our sensor script. So now we are able to get access to our sensor. So now let's work on our jump function. Here inside of our update, we can write else if input dot get key down, and the name of that key is our space button. Then we want to jump. Here when we are going to jump, so first we need also to make a variable for that we are not jumping. So here let's make another under the pivot. I'm doing it pivot bool grounded or is grounded. So here when we are going to jump, then we want to say the grounded is equal to false, so we are not more on the ground. Then rb dot velocity is equal to new vector2 rb dot velocity dot x So we don't want any changes at X position. So we write the same, but we want to change it at Y position with the jump force. So now let's save it, but here before we are going to save it, we have some errors here. So it's because of this else here, so I'm going to change it to if. And also here, instead of a space with the big S, we need to change it to S, small s. So now we can save it and test it. So now let's go down here inside of the jump force. I'm going to change it to 6 or 7. Now let's play to be sure that we give a value to that. And now we are able to jump. But as you see, we can jump again and again because we need to limit our jumping with the full value of grounding. So let's go back and do it fast. So here I'm going to add also when we are grounded, then we are just able to jump once. So now in the top of that, to also disable our grounding, we need to write if we are not, that means not grounded, and ground sensor dot is active, then grounded is equal to be true. Now let's just copy that and paste it. This time we need to do it opposite, so that means when we are grounded and ground sensor is not active, then grounded is to be false. So now let's save it and test it. So as you see, guys, we are able just to jump once. So when here I'm going to down to debug, as you see the grounded is true. As soon as we are going to jump, the grounded is a false, and when we are going to land, it becomes true again. And the same is also for the ground sensor. The collide count is 1, and as soon as I'm going to jump, coming down, collide count becomes 1, 0, 1, 0. So now everything works fine with our grounding. In the next part, we are going to give an animation to the fall animation and also jump animation, which we are going to use our script, this two script that we have here. So this one is for the falling and this one for the jumping. So we are going to give animation to our jumping. See you now in the next video.